This week on Reliving the Extreme, we are discussing the episode of ECW from February the 13th, 1996. Nate Maxon, your host here, along with my brother Aaron.
Hello, everybody.
And Mr. Chad Austin.
Tally-ho, fellow fucking fuck faces, whatever the fuck.
And I told Aaron I don't even know how to... It's going to be hard to dive into this one because my notes... The show is very schizophrenic, so my notes are very schizophrenic.
It is, man. I agree, dude.
And I'm not going to lay judgment on whether that's good or bad until we're done and we've hashed it out. Because sometimes I'll watch a show and I'll be like, that was really good. And then when we break it down, I'm like, well, it actually kind of stunk, or whatever. So I'm not going to lay judgment until we get through it. But yeah, like I said, this is the episode of ECW TV from February 13th, 96. And we start off picking up where we left off last week. We left off last week with Saturn continuing to shave his head. And that's what he's doing as we start the show this week. Is pretty much Saturn. I put Saturn finishes his haircut.
Yeah, whatever. Aaron, you go.
Usually when there's a
I'd rather follow off of you because I don't know what the fuck's going on here anymore.
Usually when there's a haircutting, it's like supposed to make the guy look worse, but it's like he looks better without the hair. You know what I mean? Like he looks more intimidating or whatever. So it's kind of whatever. But I'm not gonna be.
I always liked him. I always put him over. I put over Saturn. Or no, the other one. The other. Yeah, I put him over more. Like I was partly responsible for getting them their jobs in ECW to begin with, because of IW, not IWA, it was whatever Burt Prentice ran. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't remember what it was called, but I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, but I got them I got them jobs there, and then when I left and went back to Philly. After I was gone for a year or so, whatever it was, and I told Paul, I was like, dude, like you need a tag team. You have these two fucking black guys that are just, killing people, more or less. And I was like, you need this tag team. And he's like, who are they? And I told him it was the Eliminators, and basically, yeah, I got on their job there. You know what I mean? Like I think it was for lack of there was nobody else there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I could have put fucking you and fucking Aaron together, and said, you two fucking idiots could be a tag team in ECW. But it just so happened that I just ran into, these guys.
I think I have my timeline screwed up in my head. I can't remember how soon before the Eliminators were in ECW was their run in Memphis, or their small run in Memphis.
It was then. It was done. Seriously.
Okay.
Like, yeah. I was there. I can't give you the month, but I was there with Ian Rotten, and we sat there with them, like at Louisville, in the fucking Louisville place, and they were already talking about leaving, and I had just started in Memphis, so this was probably, probably summer of 95, 90, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I had just started, and I'm sitting there talking to fucking fat ass Ian, and they were already talking about like ECW, and I'm like, yeah, we already worked there, and they were talking about going there, and we were like, all right, man, good luck, dude.
95 in Memphis, they're like, yeah, we can't continue to get paid in cinnamon toast crunch. It just it's not gonna work. We gotta
pretty much.
And Ian was like, I'm gonna continue being paid with cinnamon toast crunch.
I don't know who the fuck. I don't know who the fuck promised me $40 a night, but they were a liar.
God damn you, Dutch Mantel. God damn you.
No, it's per apprentice probably.
Another guy who's had plenty of cinnamon toast crunch.
It was like literally it was I'll go to Nashville on Saturday afternoon, then I'll go to Nashville at or Wednesday at Evansville, drive to a spot show, 5 hours away, and then drive back, and then they were always like, well, since everybody's quitting, we're not going to pay you until you get to Evansville. So
A
I
likely
drive to
fucking
Evansville,
story.
and I get my paycheck, and I look at it and go, "Good Lord!" It's a good thing I saved like literally 10 grand to go there, because I didn't make 10 grand while I was there.
The next thing we see on the show, Joey is in the ring, introing the show. They are back in Queens for this taping, and then we get Taz and Fonzie out to the ring, cutting a promo on 911. Rey Mysterio comes to the ring and pretty much kind of gives the "we're not going to let you bully us" speech, and then Taz proceeds to fuck him up. One thing I did write down out of the I don't know if anybody remembers the movie 12 Monkeys, but there was a sign in the crowd that said Taz is the 13th monkey.
I didn't notice it till the end of the show, but yeah, it's Taz is the 13th monkey was a funny sign, and I don't know if is 911 gone, or is he like hurt? Because they're half-ass knocking him, like, you know what I mean? Like they're almost like calling him a coward, and like that he doesn't want to come out and fight Taz. And I don't remember if he's gone now or if he's coming back, but
No,
they're not really
no,
put him over anymore.
Yeah, I love me some Taz. Me and Taz are still friends. I love me some Taz, and I hate even talking to him now. He's a dick. Like talking to him, like even as a friend, like he's a dick. And you're like, yeah, I haven't talked to him in probably 2 or 3 weeks, and then all I ever do is make fun of how stupid he sounds on, whatever that show is.
Yeah, which show is he on now? I don't even remember. They have so many fucking shows. I have no idea who's on
Dude,
what.
that's why I didn't say it. I don't fucking know what it is either. It's either on Friday night, Saturday morning, Wednesday night. You know what I mean? I don't fucking know. And Taz is a great guy, dude. I mean, he really is cool. Like he's a good guy, but I'm like, I can't keep up with you, dude. I'm not even sure he can keep up with himself.
Well, they have this whole thing is just actually most of this episode is pretty wacky, but like I said, Ray comes out to do the you're not going to bully us around thing, and Taz essentially beats him up. And then for some reason, fucking JT Smith comes out, and then
JT and Hack come out to help, even though they were feuding against each other, but they both decide to come out and help Ray. JT decides that he's going to do the Italian thing and kick a man while he's down, which upsets Hack Myers, and then Hack Myers attacks JT, and they brawl. And then Joey tries to restart.
You gotta have Hack Myers. Fuck.
And then Joseph tries to restart, which also brings out Woman, who interrupts and cuts a promo about going to WCW but wanting to stay in ECW. And then it's like Sandman comes out, interrupts Woman, calls her a bitch. Then Too Cold comes out, hints that he's leaving, but ends up calling her a bitch too, and he carries her out and throws her in a limo. You're like, what the fuck just happened? We just saw this on the last show we saw, was Too Cold carrying her out of the building, and he's doing it again. It's like they just did it in every town, so they were like, "Oh, let's just keep playing it because we did it in
Yeah,
every
well, and
fucking
that's the
town."
thing. That's what I actually have written down here. It's fine to do this in every town, but don't televise that you do it in every town.
Yeah, it's like it's almost like Too Cold, So Stupid that he can only do it in the same town. You know what I mean?
I forgot that
He
I
keeps
forgot that I
he
did
keeps
this last time.
he keeps carrying her outside of the building, but he's too down to put her down, so he keeps walking back in with her.
you keep
And they said,
you keep taking the bitch out, but you keep bringing the bitch back in.
yeah, and they just keep sending a woman out to go, "You're an idiot." You know, like we're in a different town now. You know, like, can you move on? You know, like, and then Scorpio's like looking at her like,
I just to go back to something you mentioned earlier, Aaron. I looked it up because I wasn't sure on the timing either. It sounds like 911 at this point is gone because they started up the feud with Taz and then they scrapped it because 911 left the promotion after a falling out backstage with Paul Heyman over Paul Heyman's treatment of the ring crew. I don't know.
what?
It's
Not
it's
911.
it's the internet. Yeah, it's the internet. So believe believe half of what you see and none of what you see. But that's the apparent. The long and short of it, yes, is that it appears at this point he is gone, which will explain something that happens later on in the show. But
didn't Paul give half the rig crew jobs in the ring? I mean,
I thought some of the. Hey, I was gonna say I thought they just put up their own ring anyway.
Like, yeah,
I thought he did them pretty good. I think, but whatever.
I was waiting to see if the ring was even going to be there at the next show. Well, you know, Paul got rid of the ring crew.
So originally, like Todd Gordon and Eddie Gilbert used Wolfman's ring, and then Paulie used Rocco's ring. Now that Rocco's gone, Chad, do you know? Did they just have their own ring, or are they using somebody else's ring now?
They used our ring.
Okay.
Like the ring with the black ropes.
Yeah.
That's our ring. That's a fucking ring. It's a great ring. The only problem is it's a fucking I think it's a 16 by 16. It's not a TV ring. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if you guys know anything about that at all, but it's not a TV ring. It needs to be bigger.
Is the reason for that? Is it just? How do I want to say this? For a TV, the difference between having a ring that's good on TV and a ring that's not good on TV, aesthetically, is it just because you can get better shots in a smaller ring or in a bigger ring? I mean,
yeah, because it's a bigger ring, and I mean you can shoot from better angles, and you know, and you can get like better, like better, like better angles basically. But it's a small ring like that, like you can't do shit because when you're doing spots, like every time you do like a spot, you're that close to the ropes. You know what I'm saying?
right.
A 16 by 16 or an 18 by 18. So yeah, that's the ring that he used was the ring that we gave him. 18 by 18. You know? Get in where you fit in, fucking idiots. I ain't got time for all that shit.
The next segment after Scorpio, like Aaron said, again takes a woman out of the building. That's her new means of transportation to get to the hotel. I guess it's just have Scorpio take her out of the arena. But we have a segment with Stevie and Meanie, and here comes Stevie being Stevie. I'm just not a fan of Stevie Richards.
Very few are.
But Stevie and Meanie, they confront
I'll
Sandman.
let you say it first, because how about this? I don't like Stevie Richards.
But they come out to talk to Joey, and Joey's still in the ring. Like I said, this is Joey. I think in this show was probably in the ring for the first 45 minutes of the show. But Stevie and Meanie come out. Pretty much, Stevie wants Sandman says Raven wants Sandman to back out of the upcoming title match. Of course, Sandman says no. Stevie threatens to give Sandman a Stevie kick. Meanie wants to kick him, and then Meanie gets caned. And Aaron, you might have more detail, but this is what I wrote down about this ridiculousness going on in the ring.
It's just Sam. They want him to back out of the title match, like you said. Meanie wants to do the super kick, gets hit with the cane. Then Raven comes out because they failed. He confronts Richards. He calls him stupid, and says that he's stupid and he's a loser. And he points down at Meanie, and he says, "I even gave you your I even gave you your own Meanie." And then he calls Meanie a piece of fat hell, whatever that means. He's like, "Look at this piece of fat hell," is what he calls him. And then Raven slaps Richards around. Richards begs him to stop and says he has a surprise for him, and the surprise is that he's suing Missy Hyatt for sexual harassment.
But the funny thing about it was, I did think it was funny that he had to reach into Meanie's shorts to get the lawsuit paper, and the crowd's reaction to that was great. They were like, "Oh no!"
When he lifted up the legs or whatever, they were like, "Whoa!
Oh no! Oh no!"
But he's suing Missy Hyatt for sexual harassment. Then Missy Hyatt comes out and confronts Stevie. Raven says that he'll drop the suit if she gets with him. She says no, and then the Raven obviously has a low sperm count because he couldn't knock Butte.
Why did she cut her hair so short, man?
I don't know. It was that short in WCW, right? In like '93, but I don't know what she had. I don't know. It's just weird, and I think it's they're doing the sexual harassment thing on her because she sued WCW for sexual harassment, so it's like an inside joke on that. But and then the Sandman comes out, Sandman comes out because Raven goes to attack her, and Raven lays everybody out, and before Missy goes to did you guys catch Joey's joke? Did you catch the joke they had?
Let me see. Because I wasn't reading my notes no, I didn't.
She goes to get ready to make out with Sandman and looks at Joey, grabs him by the shirt, and it's actually a funny joke. Looks at him, she goes, "Are you even 18?" And he was like, he goes, "I was when this segment started."
Good Lord. That's fun.
Because it's like gone like 37 minutes. It's like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, and that's basically half of the show. And you say what you want to say, but I actually do like it sometimes when it's just like
I love this
segment bleeding into segment.
Yeah, and like I said when we started, I wasn't necessarily saying this was bad. I'm just saying it was a very frantic episode. There's a lot going on, and it's just coming at you, man. And there's no time to breathe.
Like, I always thought, like Missy, maybe it's me that I was always like, "Oh, cool, Missy's here, man." You know what I mean? But she was never the same Missy that she was, I don't know, 15 years ago, you know. And I was always just glad that she was there, but at the same time, in the back of my mind, I'm going, it ain't the same, you know what I mean? You ain't got Eddie, you know.
Yeah, well, and essentially what the purpose of this segment, hopefully Scorpio taking woman out the back door was the last time
carrying her out.
But the
speaking of back door, we got Missy.
Well, Well, I was just saying, essentially, the long and short of it,
It's
goddamn,
WCW.
is essentially they're replacing Woman with Missy for Sandman. You just slip Missy into the same role that woman was playing.
Yeah, it was taking her out of WCW.
Yeah, one
One
of them one of them is going away and going to WCW, and the other one's coming from WCW
Yeah.
into ECW.
And here I am looking for the door. Which door are you guys going out of? You know what I mean? Like, I need to find out which one of these doors are. No, you're taking one girl out one door, one girl out the other door, and here I am going in the middle, going, "What do you want from me?"
When Joey comes back, now he's finally not in the ring. Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
So, the only thing I was gonna add is when you do that, like quick thing, like if something goes bad, it's easy for some people not to remember it. You know what I mean? Because it's like rapid fire stuff. So
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course. Yeah,
like
I got you. Yeah, you're right. Of course.
but I enjoyed it. So, but now we're actually gonna get into like matches. So I'll let you take over.
Well, Joey comes back, and this time he's not in the ring. He talks about all the happenings going on. Says the entire wrestling industry is against Taz and his bullying nature and Bill Alfonso. And the next stuff that we are going to see is from the Big Apple Blizzard Blast. Say that 5 times fast. The Big Apple Blizzard Blast from ECW. Sounds like something you can get at Dairy Queen, but
Ain't nobody saying that. Fucking King Kalua might do that.
that also sounds like something you could get at a Dairy Queen. I'll have a Big Apple Blizzard Blast and a King Kalua, please.
And a chili dog.
And a chili dog. A chili dog and a handshake.
And a chili willy.
King Kalua.
We're a few years from Chili Willy. They show Paulie introduce that they have cameramen there from the television show A Current Affair. Does that show even still exist?
Oh my God, I forgot about this. Oh shit, yeah, I forgot about all this.
None of those shows exist anymore.
Yeah, fucking I don't know what Jeff Jones. I think he set all this shit up, and there was more people that didn't work in the locker room that worked in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? you know what I'm saying? Like you couldn't fucking go anywhere without somebody going, "Hey, let me ask you a question," and then you look at them, you're like, "What?" And the only thing they ever asked me about was New Jack. And he must have asked me, I don't know, 13, 14 times. Like, all right, so and what again about this New Jack situation? And I'm like, what the fuck do you watch it? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like what do you want me to tell you? And that's all they kept asking about. And it was, there was definitely 15, 16 people in the back, like doing the show. And it was all Jeff Jones doing. I'm sure it was. I mean, I love Jeff. He's one of my best friends. But I'm sure that he booked all this.
Then you know that whether they were going to report fairly, unfairly, good or bad on ECW, Paulie didn't give a shit because all press is good press.
But that's in my opinion, that's stupid. I mean, I get the whole all press is good press and all, but they made ECW look dumb. They did. They made it to look like a fucking garbage kind of thing, and I'm thinking like, if somebody would have had legal precedent to stop and say like you can't. You know what I mean? It's wrestling, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't do that. We're trying to make money here, and you're telling these fucking people that, oh yeah, these are ham bones, you know, and I'm like, no, yeah, you can't do that. That's not the way it works. It'd be a different story if it was some like outlaw fucking promotion that you see on Facebook, whatever. Like their
Or that god,
promotion good promotion.
that godforsaken XPW.
I don't know anything about XPW.
Yeah, that Rob Black XPW
Oh,
promotion.
that guy with the thumb and shit, or the finger,
Yeah, I
or
hate
whatever.
that shit's garbage. It's terrible. It's like I'd rather be bored watching the AWA than watch anything XPW ever did.
What? Yeah, I mean, I never watched that anyway.
You didn't miss a fucking thing.
Homeless. They had a guy named Homeless Jimmy.
Isn't that where that fat guy fucking fell off the goddamn?
No, yeah,
stage
New Jack threw Vic Grimes off the scaffold, intending to kill him. Yes.
Is that what that was?
Yes, he was
Yeah.
intending to
Oh,
kill him.
that's pro wrestling. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely I forgot about what I was watching anyway. Fuck.
Yeah, they had such dignitaries as Homeless Jimmy, Pogo the Clown.
Well,
Damian Steele.
I'm sorry.
Steele.
Right now, I'm a big fan of Carlito. And his little fucking garbage kids, whatever the fuck. They cut the grass and stuff.
They had the one thumb.
I'm still waiting for Carlito to come over here and cut my grass.
That's not cool.
Him and his fucking little fucking, I don't know who they are, They're all riding. Why is there 4 people on a fucking goddamn fucking ride along? I don't fucking know.
Well, they show us that after the current affairs shit, they show us footage of the Headhunters winning a match. I know one of them was pinning El Puerto Ricano. I didn't see who the partner was, but
Axel Rotten.
Okay. But the Headhunters won a match. They showed us a little bit of footage of that. They show us once again Stevie and Meanie doing not doing correctly the Fargo strut. They show Bubba doing his dance in the ring, which is always entertaining. And then we get footage of a match between Mr. Hughes and Sabu.
Well, I gotta send you guys a picture of me and Victor, and me and fucking dude, I couldn't tell Paul like enough times how much I was like, dude, you gotta fucking use these 2 fucking slobs, like the Headhunters.
Mm-hmm.
I was their biggest fans, and hell, I could have been instrumental in even fucking bringing them in to begin with, because I was like, dude, the Headhunters, like 1993, I was in the fucking crowd when they brought Ian and me out of the crowd to go to work for Ian to work them, or with Public Enemy, like the first show or whatever it was. And I'm like, dude, it's the fucking Headhunters. It's Mo Feet, Mo Bot, Mo fucking, whatever the fuck your name is. You know what I'm saying?
He got diabetes. He's got diabetes now, so he's no feet.
He's got no feet?
No feet.
But you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I mean, I always thought they had a cool look.
Fuck no, dude, they were great. I mean, did you guys ever watch Wing?
Yeah. I've seen some of that stuff. Yes,
they were great. And when they came in, like with me and Eddie, and I was like, dude, you gotta fucking, these guys are gonna be your fucking your team, because Eddie had already worked there. He already knew them.
Mm-hmm.
So like me and Eddie already knew, like, these guys were like we were going to build a foundation around, you know what I mean, these guys. But it's not. It wasn't. It wasn't us. It was Victor. Fucking Victor, the fucking child protector. You know what I mean? It wasn't. That wasn't how it worked. Victor had a problem with Paul or Eddie. At that time, it was Eddie, and then, you know, as it went on, then it became Paul. So, like, they weren't coming back because Paul and Paul and Eddie had a falling out.
Yeah.
So that's where it all. That's how it all came around. And I was like, dude, these fucking guys, you know what I mean? And I didn't have any weight. So all I could say was, these guys are great.
Yeah, like I said, I always thought they had a cool look, and I remember, I mean, back then when I was watching, I was pretty much a teenager, and they were kind of in and out of American promotions. So at that time, I didn't see them a lot because obviously pre-internet, I wasn't a tape trader or anything back then. So, but I've seen stuff since then on YouTube and such from Wing and Puerto Rico, and yeah, I think they're pretty underrated and didn't get their fair shake in the business. Well, at least here in this country in the business, I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, they made halfway decent money in Japan and Puerto Rico. So it wasn't like they went out, you know what I mean?
Right.
They just remember when WWE brought them in?
Yeah, they called them the squat team.
Fuck, I don't know what the fuck.
Jim Cornette managed them.
Yeah, they actually brought him in twice, because they brought him in once as the squat team. It was at Royal Rumble '96, and it was just like a one-shot thing. And then they brought him in later on in, I think, '97, because it was actually after they had gotten the Titantron to Raw, and they brought him in with Cornette as their manager, like acting like a coach or something. And then they were gone just as quickly.
I mean, why? I mean, I don't know. Fucking Ray Charles could see fucking Cornette would have been a great manager for them. They can't talk. They're two fat slobs. I mean, the one looks like my fucking wife. Just throw him out there, you know what I mean? And Cornette can talk for him. I mean,
Yep.
it sounds like it writes itself, right?
You would think so.
Yeah, it'd be like, yeah, you got two big fucking fat black guys that shouldn't be able to talk. Then you got Cornette that could fucking talk fucking, you know, anything. And there you go. As a matter of fact, Cornette's going to fucking represent me in court. My divorce court.
The next match we see on this, or footage of anyway, on this show is the Gangstas versus Sandman and Scorpio, and it appeared that Sandman and Scorpio won this match.
It was a good match, man. Wasn't it?
They didn't show much of it on this show. I don't know if we're going to get it full length at some point on any of the other shows, but they only showed pretty much a couple of clips and then the finish on this show, but it looked like it was good from what I saw. I mean, all of the participants are fine.
All the participants are fine.
They're fine.
All the participants. That's the best. Fuck. Yeah. Johnny Rods. What a hand.
What a great participant.
Yes. Him and SD, boy, could they put a ring together?
Well, and then we get the main event, quote unquote, tag match of the show. Aaron, unless you had anything else on what we just discussed.
No, just it's dangerous putting Mr. Hughes in a match with Sabu. The Sabu lays him out on the table. He's probably just gonna fall asleep. But other than that, nah, it's just basically what they were doing was hyping this thing and saying these aren't the matches you're gonna see on TV, and
Pretty much.
it's just a way to
Yeah.
it was a way to sell their videotape, and you can't fault them for that.
Dude, I remember. I don't know whether it was Axel. It was somebody, but when they were talking about like Mr. Hughes, whatever, and they were whoever it was like, oof. You know, I don't think this is a great idea. You know, and then I you know, me being addicted, I am, just probably jumped in and was like, yeah, that's probably ain't the greatest idea in the, you know what I mean, in the world. But you said it wasn't Axel, was it?
No,
Who
no.
was Mr. Hughes with?
Sabu.
Sabu. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah, and then it was me and Axel that were sitting around going, "Oh, this ain't the greatest idea," because you know, like whatever Aaron said, Mr. Hughes is going to fall asleep in the middle of the match, and all Sabu's going to do is jump all over him. You know, like he's going to lay there, and Sabu is going to flip and flop. You know, and Axel was the one that I remember telling Paul was like, "I don't think it's
the main event tag, or I guess quote unquote you call it the main event tag match of the show. The match that we get the most footage of is a tag match with Shane Douglas and Tommy Dreamer against Raven and Stevie Richards. They have a little back and forth to start the match, and then Stevie Richards is kind of a dig on Dean Douglas. Obviously, Shane Douglas reveals he's wearing a Razor Ramon t-shirt, or he puts on a Razor Ramon t-shirt just to rub the salt in the eyes of Shane Douglas from his time in the WWF, obviously.
This is probably where I bailed out because I don't like any of them motherfuckers. You know, so I ain't spending my time watching this shit. Stevie stinks. I mean, I kind of like Raven.
We've established that Dreamer stinks. There was a guy in the Stick to Wrestling group today that made a post about, he's like, and he was pretty much presented his case that Tommy Dreamer is the worst wrestler of all time.
Tommy Dreamer's the worst wrestler of all time?
Yes, and dude had he presented his case for why Tommy Dreamer is the worst wrestler of all time. I don't have the post up here, so I can't read it, but I was like, oh shit.
I had to see this post because I might just go like, yeah, you're if you're not right, you're fucking pretty close, dude.
Yeah, it's in the Stick to Wrestling group, and I know you're in that group, so you'll probably see it. But yeah, I was like, damn, he's presenting his fucking case.
Tommy Dreamer stinks, dude. Fuck. I mean, I don't know what the fuck. TNA, you know what I mean? Fuck it. Fuck him. He stinks.
This match, there's a lot going on during this match because, of course, Cactus Jack gets involved to come out after Shane Douglas because they're feuding. Sandman comes out and canes Raven because they're feuding. Sandman canes the referee. And I'm sure this match was long as hell because it was definitely edited for television.
It was probably 30 minutes, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say, they showed us about 12 minutes of it, and I'm sure it was probably at least a half an hour long.
Yeah,
with all the
finish was fucking stupid.
With all the shenanigans and such.
The finish was fucking stupid.
It was all stupid.
She duct taped a frying pan to Tommy Dreamer's foot, and then he did an enziguri on Stevie and pinned him.
Do you know how many times that I fucking yelled in the locker room about the goddamn fucking cookie sheet? It's a fucking cookie sheet. I yelled at, anytime I would see like anybody get hit over the head with a cookie sheet, and I would just stand up and be like, who the fuck's selling this? You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't sell this, It's a fucking cookie sheet. It's tin. You know what I mean? And like nobody, not a single person that worked in that fucking locker room. Tommy Dreamer, Tommy Rich, Tommy your sister's ass, anybody. Nobody would listen to me. And I'm going, I mean, you wouldn't see fucking Jerry Lawler do this, you know?
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same principle as those, people selling those aluminum trash cans like they were hit with a bullet. There's that one episode. There's an episode of Nitro where Tony Schiavone totally shits on that.
No, it's a pay-per-view.
Oh,
and
okay.
because he's with Tanae and Bobby.
Wait a second here. I went to the hospital because of a trash can.
It's not the trash can. It's the lid. He's talking about the trash can.
Oh, the lid. Oh, that's a different story. Yeah, that's
knobs.
bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I meant was the lid. Yes.
Yeah, I got
think it's
18 stitches.
I think it's Knobs and Hack. I think it's Knobs and Hack are having a match, and they're hitting each other with the trash can lid. And Tony goes, that thing, it makes an amazing noise, and it really pops the fans, but it doesn't really do any damage. He says it like on pay-per-view, and Bobby and Mike are like, "What the fuck?"
Well, at that point, of course, Tony Schiavone's fucking checked out at WCW. Anyway.
Oh yeah, he's all fucked up.
He doesn't give a shit. But yeah, he's totally shits on the trash can lid.
The best part is like, and not to get out of pocket or like move away from ECW. It's like back at that period, Tony got a bad rap because everybody thought he sucked. But it's like you watch it now, knowing what he was going through. I'm like, this dude's amazing. Like he is shitting on his company in front of everybody and getting paid for it.
Yeah, that was some
like
shit, man. I don't, I always liked how, like, the people at ECW, like, they would hand the people the weapons and shit like that, you know what I mean? But nobody ever handed them anything that I thought was worth a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, a gun. you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they handed him a trash can lid, or they handed him this or that. And I'm like,
the switchblade,
a fucking knife. You want to fucking if you want to get even with Raven, you fucking stab that fucking piece of shit. You know what I mean? Kill him.
Made me think of Rob Bartlett when he's like, during the commercial, Shawn Michaels pulled a knife. And Vince is like, oh no.
Oh no, he did not.
Yeah, them motherfuckers, they didn't fucking, like, I'm like, dude. I don't know. Who the fuck's leaving their house going, hey mom, can I borrow this fucking,
paper towel holder?
Fucking pizza pan, whatever.
Can I take your candelabra to ECW?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, nobody's saying, hey mom, I gotta fucking go out in the garage and find that fucking, I'm gonna find them spurs from when you rode the horse.
A gas lantern. I need a gas lantern to take
anything that would really fuck somebody up. Because pizza pan's not doing it. Fuck off.
Well, like Aaron said, the Tommy Dreamer gets the pin on Stevie Richards after that stupid finish of the tag match, and now we have Taz versus the Shark Attack Kid, who you may remember. No, I was about to say I wrote down here you may remember or probably not as the Dirt Bike Kid.
I wasn't there, so I don't know.
Why'd they have to change it?
I don't know. I just know that he is.
It could.
I remember.
It could have been me.
I remember the guy being like a thing for a few minutes in the mid '90s on the indie scene called the Dirt Bike Kid.
That's him. That's him.
Mm-hmm. But Taz pretty much, suplexes him on his head and gives him the Kata Hajime and beats him. Calls out 911. No 911.
He really either did knock that dude for a loop, or that guy was like a great seller because he looked fucked up. Honestly, so I don't know if Taz just accidentally dropped him a little stiff or what, but if he didn't, good job, Shark Attack Kid. It's the only time anybody's ever said that.
Well,
Probably,
that's good.
but good job, buddy.
That's because if you look back at Taz's previous opponents, they were all smarter than him, or some, you know what I mean. And he could dump them, and they weren't going to do shit about nothing. You know what I'm saying?
They weren't gonna do shit about fuck.
Yeah, it was me. It was Shark Boy. It was fucking whatever his name is, fucking Escargola, whatever his fucking name is. Escargot Kid. What's his name?
Puerto Ricano.
Whatever. Okay. I'm sorry, he's not Escargot.
Escargot.
But you know what I mean.
My cargo.
It was always us, Donnie. You know, fucking I can't remember. I can't remember all their fucking names. But you know what I mean? It was always guys that Taz could just fucking toss around, and guys that would let Taz toss them around. And I'm not bragging about it, but I was the best. If I wasn't the best, then Taz wouldn't have asked me to be his opponent, 8 times out of 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I'd stand there and go, all right, dude, do your thing, dummy. Yeah, here you go.
But yeah, then Taz calls out 911. Todd Gordon comes out and says 911 has left the building, which means 911 is no longer with ECW. But I think they're going to, at this point, replace him with a far better replacement. I'm not sad 911 is gone, because now we have the emergence in ECW of Bam Bam Bigelow, who shows up at the arena, or at this arena. It's actually not the arena. It's not the ECW. Anyway, it doesn't fucking matter. Bam Bam Bigelow makes his first appearance in ECW. And I loved Fonzie. I mean, I know he was worked up and everything, but he said, he screamed at Bam Bam, "You're not supposed to be here. You're WWF."
Yeah, and Bam Bam makes his big debut in galoshes. He's wearing what look to be galoshes. I understand it's snowing out.
It was before Crocs.
It's like, remove your galoshes, please. I know it's snowing, but it's not snowing inside. But it is cool that Bam Bam's there, and there's been a lot of guys, but to me, it was like he was like the first like big guy. You know what I mean? To me, like the first, because like we got guys like Tully that showed up, or this guy or that guy, but this was the first guy that hadn't been there, that's coming fresh out of one of the companies. You know what I mean? In my opinion.
But he was also one of the first guys that he helped Paul book shows, like B shows, like on Asbury Park.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? All them shows. And I got drunk with him, so I didn't give a fuck. Like,
and that's not. Sorry, I was just gonna say that's not me like knocking Cactus or anything, because I know Cactus was a big deal when he came in there, but it's like this guy main evented WrestleMania and shit. You know what I mean? And now he's there, so it's a big fucking deal. I think.
Yeah, it was. It was a great deal, because Pam could go, walk up and down the boardwalk and get shows.
Yep.
And, all they gotta do is look at him. He ain't gotta fucking he don't even have to solicit. You know what I'm saying?
And also in the perception of everything, if you think about it, the perception of ECW, and again, like Aaron said, not taking nothing away from Terry Funk, taking nothing away from Cactus, but anybody else who had, like Shane Douglas. All right, Shane Douglas had been mid-card dude in WCW. He comes to ECW, he goes to the WWF and fucking fails miserably. And and et cetera, et cetera. Bam Bam is like the first guy that it looks like ECW got a WWF superstar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he looks like somebody who's a wrestler.
Yes. Yes. He didn't look like a joke in the WWF, like Aaron said. Love it or hate it, he main evented a WrestleMania. You know.
I mean, Shane still worked at Target. Well, you know what I mean? That's all fine and good and all, but we weren't running shows in Target. You know what I mean? That's all fucking great. But for Bam Bam to be a native of New Jersey, he could get us shows in Asbury Park, like real fucking shows, whether it was on the boardwalk or at that fucking armory, whatever it was. You know, he could do that.
Yep.
I know because I worked him.
So overall, to close things out, what was your overall opinion of this week's episode of ECW, gentlemen?
I'll wait.
I enjoyed it. I liked the chaotic beginning of it, and once they got down to the matches, I mean, the matches were what they were, and it was cool seeing Bammer show up. So I enjoyed it.
I liked it too, but I'm also afraid to go to the fucking liquor store tonight because
Take your slippers.
I don't feel like beating somebody up again with my slipper.
You meet a couple of the XPW guys.
Take a croc this time.
Who's that fucking jabroni who got tapped out at fucking Jimmy Seafood? The guy from like XPW, whatever it was.
Oh,
Excalibur did it.
Was it Messiah?
No, it was that fucking guy, like somebody Cross or whatever the fuck. And I was still in the restaurant. I was still there when Excalibur was tapping this guy out on the sidewalk. And I was waiting for my Uber, and I walked out, and I was just like, "What the fuck is all this about?" and I was like, I stepped over the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck, I ain't got time.
You should have said, "You don't even work here. You're WWF."
Dude, I've had enough. You know what I mean? I've done in the last couple weeks. I've done so much shit, and I'm like, dude, I had a 35-year career, and I did more in the last fucking 3 weeks than I did in 35 years. Fucking beating up some guy with a fucking shoe. Bears.
Well, I want to thank everybody for listening to this week's edition of Reliving the Extreme. As we continue rolling on through the history of ECW week to week, please do join us on Patreon, patreon.com/reliving the extreme. And like I said, last week, I am putting our shows usually the next day after it's released on the podcast networks. I have them up on YouTube as well. If you go to the WNR Podcast Network on YouTube, if you prefer to use the YouTubes to listen to your podcast. So Aaron, Chad, any parting words before we sign off?
Yeah, listen to the fucking shows. Fuck. I hate Jessica. How about that?
Aaron?
Just like Chad said, part of what Chad said, listen to the shows.
You hate Jessica too?
No.
I knew that where it was going to go.
Yeah,
And also,
fuck her big fat
thanks-
boyfriend.
thanks for keeping us up in like the what we're usually rocking in like the 100 crowd, right?
Oh yeah. In the wrestling category, we're usually in the top. I mean, sometimes if you have an off week or something like that, we might slip into the 200s. But
Are you
normally
talking
we're
about pounds?
no on the rankings for the podcast.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Jessica's boyfriend. He's in the top 240 pounds. He ain't no cruiserweight, put it that way.
We're gonna call him Bam Bam Bigelow. We'll see you next week, everybody.